Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. You know, sometimes I like my steak uncooked, but that's rare. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at my top 10 WizKids games of all time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Number 10 is Relic. Now, Relic is, of course, a Warhammer game. It's based on the Talisman system. This was originally published, I think, about 10 years ago by Fantasy Flight Games, but then a few years ago, WizKids was able to reprint it. And this game is, like I said, it's Talisman, so essentially you're trying to get to the center and fulfill various objectives. You roll die, but you can go either direction, and it's a very interesting game. It's got a lot of the cards and the scenarios and the stuff you would expect from a game designed by Fantasy Flight. But of course, in this reprint here, it's even more beautiful. There's more stuff. The kind of the busts of the characters are even better looking. I think they were painted here. So it's just a fun game. It's an unusual game. I haven't played a lot of Talisman games. I haven't played the original Talisman. I know there was a Batman Talisman. I never played that. But this system is very interesting. I don't know that I'd call it one of my favorite kinds of systems, but it's an interesting way to play a game. It's an interesting kind of way to play a game. It's a good balance between just dumb luck and actual skill. Really appreciated it. But anyway, that is Relic. That is my number 10. My number 9 is a game I played not too long ago. This is Kardashev Scale. Kardashev Scale is a game that is kind of a civilization building game, but it's really, really light. And essentially you've got these dials, and you're kind of selecting kind of what resource you want on the dial. But then there's kind of a rock, paper, scissors with the person to your right and to your left. And then depending on the resources you get, you can buy cards, and you're creating kind of your planetary systems, and then with kind of a pyramid, then you're building kind of your solar systems, and then your galactic civilization. So you're building your civilization up and up, and it's just a fun way. And each card gives you new advantages and new things you can do. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed Kardashev Scale for what it is: a light, quick civilization building game, science fiction civilization building game. Really enjoyed it. That's Kardashev Scale, and that is my number 9. My number 8 is Star Trek Attack Wing. Now, Star Trek Attack Wing is essentially a riff on Star Wars X-Wing, but you've got of course the Federation ships, the Klingon ships, the Romulan ships, etc., etc. And there was a period a few years ago where I was collecting this like gangbusters, this and X-Wing and Armada, and I was really getting into them, and I really enjoyed them. But it's fun because you've got the templates, and you can move your ship based on the templates. You select your dial secretly, so you don't know where the other person is going, and you're trying to get them kind of in range of your weapons. But then there's also all sorts of other little cards and stuff that come into play. I actually had the giant Borg cube, which you could play with as kind of a cooperative game, which was a lot of fun. I ended up, though, I had big crates for this, for X-Wing, and for Armada, and I actually ended up, I knew I had to get rid of one, and I ended up selling all my X-Wings, or my Attack Wing stuff, before I moved to Texas. And I kind of feel bad because it's such a fun game, and I do kind of wish I still had that stuff, but, you know, when you move, you gotta purge. So, but I really enjoyed Star Trek Attack Wing, and that is my number 8. My number 7 is another Star Trek game, and it's one that came out here just recently. This is Star Trek Missions. Now, Star Trek Missions is based on the Fantasy Realms system, I believe, where it's just literally a matter of you take a card, you drop off a card. You take a card, you discard a card. And you can take stuff from the discard pile. And the way the cards are coming up, they play off of each other. So you're trying to create a hand of cards that works off of each other, where each card is going to score off of the other cards, and then whoever has the biggest score ultimately is going to win. It's a very simple game, but it's a lot of fun. Now, I actually also recently played the Marvel Remix version of this, which is essentially the same game, only using the Marvel Heroes. But somehow I felt like, well, I did like the Marvel Heroes game, I felt like it just worked a little better with Star Trek. It clicked a little bit better, and maybe that's just my preference. I mean, I like Marvel, don't get me wrong, but I was always a big Trekkie growing up. So I don't know, maybe that factors into it. But I really, really had fun with Star Trek Missions. I think it's a great little card game. Like, pretty quick, you know, this game does not take long at all, maybe 20 minutes, and a lot of fun. Packs a big punch for what it is. So that is Star Trek Missions, and that is my number 7. My number 6 is Batman Gotham City strategy game. Now, this is a pretty cool game where you are the villains, and it's kind of Euro-y. You're going around, you're trying to collect certain items in order to beat Batman, and then Batman will just kind of like appear at certain places and beat the crap out of you, and kind of hurt your chances in the game. So you're playing the different villains, you're going around Gotham, trying to carry out your plans, and then Batman just shows up and screws you up. It's a fun game. I really like this one quite a bit. I think I actually ended up giving this one to Zach, and I might have to get it back from him because I've been itching. I've been playing some Batman games recently, and that's one I kind of want to play again, so I might have to try to get that one back from Zach. So that is Batman Gotham City strategy game, and that is my number 6. My number 5 is a game I played just last year, and this is Cedaria Confluence. Now, this game is kind of a game of trading. You've essentially got these resources. You've got these cards that are converters that can convert some resources into other resources. So you've got this period where essentially you set up all your converters, and then you say to everybody, okay, I need this, I need this. What can we trade? What can we trade? And you've got a limited time to make these trades so that you can create the resources you need in order to convert them into resources that score you points. And it's a really, really interesting system. My issue with this game is it's a little difficult to teach. It's a kind of a difficult game to, if people don't know, if people haven't played it before, or indeed have any kind of experience with these kinds of games, they're going to be lost. So it's a harder game to teach, and I do wish it was streamlined a hair, but generally speaking, it is a lot of fun. It's a great kind of uber capitalist game, if you will, where you're trying to get those resources you need to convert them to points, and you're willing to make any deal you can to do it. And it's got this great science fiction theme to it. We're all different races with asymmetric powers. Very fun game. So that is number 5 from WizKids. That is Cedaria Confluence. My number 4 is a game that the good people at WizKids sent to me to review, and I looked at it and I had no desire to play it. I mean, I literally was thinking, this one doesn't look fun at all. But I thought, you know what? I had to play something that night with my friends, and I had to get it reviewed. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll play this one. Was not looking forward to it. I thought it looked too cartoony, too cheesy, too dumb. I'm not going to have any fun with it. And then it blew me away. It was so much fun. This is OP Arena. OP Arena is a game where you get these cards, and these cards can be like anything. They can be like, death or zombies or supercomputers or robots or, mermen or your creepy uncle. It can be all sorts of things. And what you do is, as you're playing the game, you get dice, and you roll dice for the specific cards. But depending on what the cards are, the dice do different things. They have different powers, and you're trying to knock your opponents down. And it's one of those rare games that I play where when I'm reading it and I'm looking at the artwork and stuff, I'm laughing out loud. It's a rare thing that games actually make me laugh at stuff like that. Usually you're laughing with the experiences that you're having. And in this game, I'm doing both. It's such a fun game, and this is a game that didn't get nearly enough love. I really liked OP Arena quite a bit, and this is my number 4 from WizKids, OP Arena. My number 3 favorite game from WizKids is a game that I played, again, probably about 10 years ago. And I played it several times since, but I haven't played it a lot in the last few years for various reasons, but I still got it in the expansions. And this is Star Trek Fleet Captains. Star Trek Fleet Captains is Star Trek in a box. It is a game where you feel like you really are the captain of a starship. You are exploring, you are encountering strange new worlds, new life, and new civilizations. And you are also fighting your enemies. You're fighting the Klingons, you're fighting the Romulans, or what have you. It's really a fun game, and you've got these great models. It's got the hero click system, so you can essentially kind of adjust your power curve, how much power you're putting into shields, into weapons, into what have you. You're taking that, but you're moving to the different tiles, and you are uncovering them, and you are having these different encounters with these new aliens. And it's just tremendous fun, and really good games. You're trying to rack up the points that you need to get there. And you can counter black holes and stuff like that. It's really just super fun game. If you like Star Trek, you really need to play this game. And I think it's still in print. You really need to check it out. This is Star Trek Fleet Captains, and that is my number 3. My number 2 is a game. This is another game that was originally printed by another company, and WizKids recently did the reprint. And this, of course, is Clash of Cultures. Clash of Cultures was originally came out from Z-Man Games. I played it a couple of times, and I really loved it, but then I just never got it to the table. And I think it was late last year, they finally, WizKids released the Monumental Edition, and man, it's like one of my favorites. I freaking love this game. It's a big, epic civilization building game. And you know, it's you start off, you're exploring, you can found cities, and then the cities actually physically grow, and then you can try to influence other cities, but there can be earthquakes and plagues and disasters, but you're building up your tech, you're learning fishing, you're learning writing, you're learning science, and you can build wonders. And it's funny because in the, not even year I've had this game, I have played it more than I played the original when I had it over the course of several years. And this new edition has the expansion baked into it, which is cool because you get a lot more content. Big, thick box, tons of stuff in there. It is a fantastic game. I really, really love Clash of Cultures. If you like big civilization building games, epic games that tell big stories on your tabletop, Clash of Cultures does it as good as any game out there and better than a lot. I highly, highly recommend you check that one out if that's your cup of tea. But that is Clash of Cultures, and that is my number 2 from WizKids. My number 1 from WizKids. So again, this is a game that another company originally put out. Fantasy Flight originally did it. And WizKids has done it more recently. And I don't know if it's still in print. And if it's not, get back in print. This is not only my favorite WizKids game, this is probably top 5 game for me of all time. This is Fury of Dracula. I love, 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 love Fury of Dracula. It is a hidden movement game. One player is Dracula. He's going around Europe, trying to hide and to create new vampires and set traps for the heroes. The heroes are searching desperately, trying to find him, but they also got to soup up and get weapons and stuff they can beat him with, because if Dracula finds him, they're screwed. And what's cool here, what I really like about Fury of Dracula is, well, there are a lot of things I like about it. It's big, it's epic, it's got great event cards and other cards that come into play that it's making it so fun. But one thing I really love about this game is the combat system. The combat system in this is so good. I really liked it when I was playing the 2nd edition. I really liked combat there, and you kind of use dice and stuff. And then when they went to the 3rd edition and subsequently the 4th edition, they got rid of the dice. I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be good. And it's even better. It's kind of a rock, paper, scissors things, but you really have to outguess the other guy. And there's some bluff and double bluff there. And I really, really love combat in this game. Tremendous game. I can't tell you how much I freaking love Fury of Dracula. Please, 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 if you don't have a copy, get a copy. If it's not in print, petition to get it back in print. But I love Fury of Dracula. One of my favorite games of all time. And that is my number 1 favorite game from WizKids. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know. What do you think? Do you agree with my choices here? Are there games you wish had been on this list that you would put on the list? Are there games you don't think should be on the list? Let me know. I'm always happy and excited to know what other people think about these lists and my choices. And please, 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 check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history and fun things like that. Please check it out. Please subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, am I the only one that my girlfriend has ever dated? You betcha. She said all the others are 9s and 10s. Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. God knows that I love to fight, but I don't ever win. It's a fine line to damnation, but God let me in. Chrissy.
Dang it!
You bet. I knew you were gonna go. I knew you were gonna go. I knew it.